Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Bun B, of course, back with my compadre, Dr. Anthony Penn. This is our fourth remix based on the session that we're talking about today, hip hop and Christianity. Doc, you got any questions for me on this?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Prof.
Okay.
So it's clear that hip hop has had a relationship with Christianity. On some level, that relationship has been positive. Help me understand what has been most appealing about the Christian tradition for hip hop.
I think the fact that when you talk about the hip hop community and the Christian dynamic with respect to the inner city communities of America, both of them have the same worries about those inner city communities. And although we haven't seen eye to eye on a lot of different things, one thing that we do both care about is the children, the future. So hip hop and the church have tried to work together to create different avenues for the youth of America in these inner cities. You know, after school programs, which used to be very proliferant in America, have dwindled over the last couple of years. Hip hop has tried to, fund some of these situations and then offer different ways of connecting with the youth. We can't just expect churches to go out and do all the hard work for us. We have to be there, not just financially, but in person, talking to these youth, explaining the world, and most importantly, explaining the difference between what we see on television and what's real today, because a lot of our children are getting very confused, and often there's mixed messages being sent from the community as far as hip hop is concerned. As an elder, it's important for me to build these lines of communication to make sure that people feel comfortable coming to hip hop for other issues.
Well, let's look at the other side of that coin. If that's what hip hop finds most attractive about Christianity, what does hip hop find most offensive about the Christian tradition?
I think in most cases it's the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, we're all humans. We're all sinners, to be, quite honest, and none of us are perfect. And I think that the church tends to point the finger at us and point out our inaccuracies or things that we have issues with, where even in my own music, where we've talked about different issues with people that we've seen in our community that represent themselves one way from a religious aspect, and as soon as the church doors close, they're out in the world just like me, doing different things, or in certain cases going harder than me. It's been really interesting.
That's really helpful, Prof. You have something for me?
Yeah, as far as Christianity and hip hop is concerned, we've seen the growth of the hip hop rapper as he stands in Christianity, the Christian rapper, the gospel MC. But we talk about hip hop in this aspect, but has music always had this connection with Christianity? Like, we see these messages coming from the hip hop culture, but has R&B or jazz sent different musics about their representation of Christianity?
Yes, I mean, music has always been prominent within the Christian tradition, moving back to the spirituals that we can't accurately date, moving forward. And there's also been a flirtation within churches, right? A flirtation with what has been labeled secular music, right. An appreciation for the beat and some hesitancy with respect to the lyrics. And so for quite a long period of time now, churches have made use of that beat, right? Made use of that rhythm and layered on top of that gospel-based lyrics. And churches have often argued that this was necessary because you're actually supposed to use everything that's available to you, right, in order to get the message across. They've also understood that if you're going to bring in new generation, you've got to do that in a way that speaks to where they are culturally. So this has always been extremely important, but it's also created these frictions, right? So there's been this positive dimension, but there's also been this friction. Right. What are we doing? If we're supposed to be in the world but not of it, what does it mean to introduce this worldly musical form?
Oh man, this is an incredible conversation. I think we may have to take this one on Twitter.
I think that's right, man.
Hey man, don't forget to take advantage of all the social media aspects that go in coordination with this class. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.